Hello and welcome to another special episode of WCCF Talks. Big news! It's literally just happened. Microsoft have bought Zenimax Media. You may know them as Bethesda and every single company alongside them. So, yeah, massive news. It makes Microsoft the biggest console publisher, in the world.
By far.
So, we'll let Alessio just start us off, and then I know Keith's take, so I'll mention that later, and then we'll all talk. So, Alessio, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, this came out of the left field. Although, to be fair, I think I recall there was a rumor not too long ago about this, but it was one of those rumors that didn't seem to have a lot of substance, and everyone thought it was impossible, but it just happened, and Microsoft is paying $7.5 billion in cash, which means no shares or anything like that. So it's just pure money.
I mean, they've
and
got
of
the
course,
money.
Yeah, and like Chris said, that they have become huge now. I mean, Microsoft has been chasing Sony for a long time when it comes to quality exclusive content.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone in the industry said that it was the main reason Sony still had the edge within the PlayStation 4 generation. And of course, the Xbox One generation, in terms of first-party output by Microsoft, was quite disappointing overall. With a few exceptions, like perhaps Gears 4 and 5 were pretty good, and also, of course, the Forza Horizon games, but there wasn't a lot of great titles. And now, within a couple of years, they have bought, I think, perhaps 14 studios. How many?
Yeah.
I mean,
we'll
the
be talking
total
about that
number.
soon, Keith's idea, but yeah.
Yeah, the total number of studios, it's I think Eternal Studios is now 23, because they have 343 Industries, Compulsion Games, Double Fine, Inxile, Mojang Studios, Ninja Theory, Obsidian, Playground, Rare, The Coalition, The Initiative, which we haven't seen anything yet, Turn 10, Undead Labs, World's Edge, which is dedicated to H1.5.
The main thing is like the new ones. They've like id Software, a massive deal in itself. Bethesda Games, Bethesda Software, not the actual publisher. Again, massive.
Arcane makes wonderful games.
Arcane as well. I'm forgetting about Arcane, but could we see Dishonored 50? I don't know. But
and also Tango, and also Zenimax Online. So also Elder Scrolls Online, the new game. So it's
I get the feeling Zenimax Online will be the name will change very shortly. It'll probably just become Bethesda Online.
So it's a lot of great IPs, from Fallout to Doom and Elder Scrolls, of course, and Dishonored. I mean, lots of great franchises.
Prey,
and right now it's for all of Sony's great efforts to make wonderful exclusives, until recently with.
I wonder if this is why Microsoft haven't shown anything, because they just knew this was like they thought, you know what, we've got some news that's coming out in about 2 weeks. We don't need to show anything. We're just going to blow anything Sony says out of the water.
You know what? I think that's a good point, Chris, because we've been speaking a lot about how Microsoft and Sony have been playing this game of chess, trying to outmove each other, trying to play chicken with the pricing and the announcements and stuff. And now we come to this, and Microsoft left it to the last moment, the day before pre-orders open for the Xbox consoles, and they just slap you with this. They say, we're going to have the Elder Scrolls, we're going to have the Fallouts, we're going to have Doom. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. This is... We've never seen a publisher acquire another publisher which is also big enough to have its own E3 conference, if you know what I mean.
That's...
Well, this is the thing. I literally just said that. I know Alessio made the point that Microsoft have haven't ever done anything this big before, but no company in the history of the video games industry has ever done anything this big before. Not
Is this
only
the biggest ever acquisition in terms of like cash money?
Yeah, I think so.
in terms of actual cash money, yeah, you've probably looked at big acquisitions in terms of companies merging. I don't. Again,
Yeah,
that might not be correct, but even this will probably actually outshine them. It's just the size and scale of everything, from the number of games to,
yeah,
again, just everything. It's insane. I am quite curious. It was just put online that obviously this deal now means that Microsoft have got to publish 2 timed exclusives for the PS5. Which are those 2?
yeah. Deathloop and the other one was, I think, Ghostwire, right? Ghostwire Tokyo. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so nothing massive. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
not.
Well, no, it's not a. So the reason I was thinking that is because in reality, the real IPs are Doom, Wolfenstein, Elder Scrolls, Fallout.
Yeah.
To a lesser extent, Dishonored and such as that. But in reality, now Microsoft has exclusive rights to Doom, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and they've won. They've literally won in the list of games. Game Pass, which you've just done a video on, Dave, has now become infinitely more valuable.
Yeah, and of course the press release highlights that. So Bethesda's future games are going to be on Xbox Game Pass the same day they launch on both Xbox and PC. So of course Starfield will be an Xbox and PC exclusive, and the same goes with Elder Scrolls 6.
This
So
is insane. It's not a death blow to Sony, but it's
of course.
kind of I think, of course it's not a death blow, but it looks like Microsoft might gain the upper end, in the coming future.
This is a move to this is a move to focus the industry. Like if it wasn't anymore, like in the terms of video game publishing now, you've just lost a company that I would have said 10 years ago I really, really liked Bethesda as a publisher because they took risks. I say, but it's now focusing it all into Microsoft, and Microsoft have got the money to take risks. And to be fair to them, I suppose they took a little bit of a risk with Sea of Thieves and such as that. Maybe we'll see some more branching out.
Actually, now that you're mentioning that, in the blog post penned by Bethesda's Pete Hines, for example, he said, and I'm quoting him, "Yes, it's a big change for us, but after taking a minute to absorb the magnitude of this acquisition, we're going to continue doing what we know and love, making great games. We're going to keep trying new things."
He may need to change that line because they haven't made a great game recently.
Let's not open
Fallout
that kind of
76
words.
was absolute dog shit.
Yeah, kind of. But in fairness, let's put all this into context, because like we're throwing around all these names of games and publishers and stuff that. Yeah. But what we're really looking at is like, how does this factor into our console war, so to speak? Well, a lot of people that buy PlayStation consoles don't do it exclusively for the exclusives. No. They do have a lot of third-party games they play, and when it comes to quality third-party titles, I think most gamers look to Bethesda for games like Wolfenstein, like Fallout.
Fallout, Doom, Elder Scrolls. I mean, those are 3 of the biggest IPs in gaming.
Yeah, and we know, we're pretty much assured that the PS5 timed exclusives will still be PS5 timed exclusives. They still will fulfill their end of the contractual bargain.
They are contractually obligated because Sony could sue the living hell out of them and get a hell of a lot more than they're worth.
I do wonder if there is an extra layer to this game of 4D chess that's happening right here. Is there a possibility that somewhere down the line Sony decides that losing out on all the Bethesda games is too much of a gamble, and then Microsoft says, hey, we will publish these games on your system eventually if you let us put Xbox Game Pass as a service on there or something along those lines? because we know that in the past Microsoft have reached out to platform holders like Nintendo, like Sony, to try and put their subscription services on their systems. This could be a really big bargaining chip, you know?
Wait,
This is
to be
pretty
fair,
convincing.
yeah, this last generation, it was Sony, and as much as I like Sony, Sony were the holdout, like refusing crossplay and everything along those lines.
Yeah.
So, like the bargaining chip of, you see these massive IPs that sell millions of copies on your console,
Yeah.
you know, which is generating you tens of millions a year. You may want to just think about that. You can still have
Absolutely.
them, but it's a strange one. The bargaining chip again. It also means if Game Pass is on the PlayStation, like Sony will get a 30% cut, but is it worth the amount of games?
Yeah.
The lost revenue from other games that would sell.
The worst part is I don't underestimate any of this from Microsoft's perspective. Sony, I worry about, but from Microsoft's perspective, we've already seen them publishing a lot of games on Nintendo Switch, like Ori, the second Ori game, just the other day. So I really do think Microsoft are in the business of having their games on as many platforms as possible to drag people into their services.
Ecosystem.
You know? Yeah, it's like I said in the Xbox video that I published the other day. I got Xbox Game Pass for PC, and now that I know it's such a good service, and xCloud and other things are building on top of that, now I'm looking at getting a Series X.
Yeah.
When you add this to the mix, and when you compare that to what Sony's offering right now with their PlayStation Plus collection of games that you have to have a PS5 for, but they're all old. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This is. I honestly like. I'm now a slight tangent, but I'm currently thinking of football at the moment. This is making me think like this is a massive loss for Sony, and now they're going to just dip into the transfer market. I wouldn't be surprised to see Sony suddenly be like, "So, you're a big company. How much do you want?" It's like I don't think they'll go for Ubisoft, EA, or anything like that, but you may see. I wouldn't be surprised if they started looking at companies like Devolver Digital and things like that, because there are some good names out there.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. And if you take a look at recent statements from Sony executives, they haven't really closed the door to any potential acquisitions.
Yeah.
Because, of course, just a few months ago, I think they purchased Insomniac, so they are absolutely keen to acquire more talent.
Yeah.
If they can.
It's a strange one. It really is a strange one. Same as I said, it's not a death blow to Sony, but this is a massive shot off the broadside.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And what I was saying is that I think the industry is going towards a bit of a consolidation between. Not talking about, of course, the smaller players like indie companies, but
of course,
more like the mid-sized and the big publishers. The big publishers, really huge ones like Microsoft and Sony, can acquire the mid-sized ones.
And
it's
very much an entrenchment. Both the companies are entrenching. They're drawing people into their battle lines, and everybody talks about everybody talks about the console wars, but this shot makes it actually feel like there might actually be a console war. You're going to see PlayStation with an artillery shell. No, I can't see you, Dave. But yeah, it's a strange one.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how Sony reacts to this. In the near term, whether they make some comments about it, whether they showcase something new, even though perhaps they hadn't planned to do that yet. So it's an interesting one to look at.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those things. I mean, do you think we'll see any more deals by Microsoft or Sony?
Microsoft, I really don't think so, at least for a while.
$7.5 billion is big. How about you, Dave? Oh, I think I can see Dave, but I don't think it's. Don't know if you can hear us. Yeah, it's it's a strange one. The worrying thing is, and I mean, let's talk about Keith's take at the moment, because I know he just posted it because he can't join us right now. But here we go, Keith's take. Right. Well, I'd love to go on about it, but his take is he hates the move. We are in an acquisition war. This theoretically could be the start of an acquisition war. We don't know about that. Microsoft's buying up market share rather than letting customers make their own minds where they want to go. And then he just finished by saying he's cancelling Microsoft Game Pass, fuck Microsoft, and I'm out. Which might be excessive, but
Okay, so my opinion on Keith's opinions is that I do think like we've already said this is a massive thing. Is this going to start an acquisition war? I'm honestly not sure what Sony could acquire to compete with that.
Yeah.
Ubisoft?
Nah, too big.
Yeah, they are.
Too
probably.
much money. Too much money.
Sony doesn't have that much cash flow.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be able to buy it outright with cash, but probably sort of merger deal, maybe. But
I think if
big.
Sony really want to do something to compete with this massive deal, they're gonna have to, again, do something more than offer a whole bunch of old PS4 games for PS5 owners.
Oh,
because if we look at like Xbox All Access, we look at that single subscription fee. You will get a console, and you will get every game published by Microsoft and Bethesda for the next 2 years minimum. What can Sony do to actually compete with that?
In reality, all they can do is think about buying a few mid-tier publishers.
Maybe THQ Nordic. What do you think?
Yeah, but that's more in the realm. But also, okay, not trying to be harsh to THQ Nordic. There's some
it's
good games
not
out
quite
there.
AAA tier of quality.
Yeah, that's basically where I was going with that.
Yeah, they've like THQ Nordic. You'd be looking. They've got Metro. Metro. No, they've got Metro. They've got a lot of good. They've got a lot of good IPs there. It's
Darksiders.
Yeah, of course, Darksiders. It's a strange one. It really is. In reality, thinking about it, actually, the closest you could look at would be Sega. Sega would make, but the thing about Sega is a lot of their big IPs now are not console. They're on the PC. You've got Football Manager, Total War. Of course, you've got Yakuza, bringing that back into the PlayStation fold as an exclusive. Maybe.
Also, I think...
Square Enix. There you go. That's the one. Square Enix.
What do you think, Dave? Sorry.
When it comes to buying up an acquisition which is equal to this scale, I honestly just don't even know where to begin with this.
Yeah, it is too big, I think.
Even if they did throw money at someone like Square Enix, it just seems absurd. Like, just from the perspective of buying the IPs, just the value of the IPs. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Elder Scrolls or Fallout or Doom, but the weight that those IPs carry in the gaming industry is absurd. I actually am not sure how many other publishers have IPs which stand on those levels. I mean, yeah, sure, you have Square Enix with Final Fantasy, but what else? Like, God, is Sony going to try and buy Nintendo? Like, I just...
Is it?
Yeah.
No, Nintendo would be too big, but yeah, I know what you mean. Weirdly enough, just on the acquisition now, I'm just thinking, like, something's just popped into my head when you mentioned Fallout. There's now the opportunity for the original creators of Fallout to work back on Fallout in Exile.
Yeah. New Vegas 2.
Yeah.
Vegas 2, let's go.
Obsidian, New Vegas 2. Instead of Wasteland, like in Exile, have literally got Fallout back. They can... So the permutations are massive of the companies that could literally work on the IPs that the creators made.
I mean, also, in terms of Western RPGs. I mean, Microsoft is now king basically because they have Inxile, Obsidian, and of course Bethesda Game Studios.
Yeah.
So what's left? BioWare and CD Projekt. I mean, those are the big ones.
That's it.
And I can't. Yeah, I'm just thinking I can't see anybody buying CD Projekt.
Yeah, of course.
So, and like EA will probably shut down BioWare before the end of the decade. In fact, I guarantee it.
Absolutely absurd. But yeah, like we've just mentioned, though, I really do think that this is going to be a really good thing for like a cross-studio collaboration.
Yeah.
Not just in terms of like sharing out IPs, but also sharing out engine technology. Like, imagine if Fallout 76 released in a world where someone at the publisher knew how to make an online game. Just someone, anyone, one person. That's all they needed.
Yeah, also, I mean, now Bethesda has all the money in the world, or almost, to upgrade its technology.
Yes, finally. But yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. They can put their money where their mouth is and make some truly impressive next-gen games. I do wonder if this does mean a hardcore, no more Bethesda games being seen on Sony platforms from now on.
I honestly think that's going to happen after the 2 timed exclusives.
Yeah.
Because I think that would be best for Microsoft from the hardware platform owner perspective, but like I said, I think Sony should be willing to fold some hands of cards here, like, and just swallow their pride and kind of be really nice.
I
just can't see it happening.
No, me neither.
Something else that I'm wondering if this could possibly push Sony more into releasing more games on PC as well in order to collect more revenue. Of course, this also devalues the PlayStation a bit, but on the other hand, I mean, Microsoft is doing the same because they believe in the long run that being on PC will be more profitable.
Well, I wonder if long term we could see some perhaps small title exchanges between Microsoft and Sony. For example, a couple of years down the line, Horizon Zero Dawn on Xbox, Forza Horizon on PlayStation 5.
Yeah,
it sounds absurd right now. Because Chris, you're moaning and you're going, I don't know. But also, if I said yesterday that Microsoft are buying Bethesda, you'd be like, oh, nah. So no, let's put a pin in that one.
Well, I wouldn't have said, oh no. I would have said that the actual amount of money would be absurd. I just remember when there were talks a year or two ago when there were talks about people buying CD Projekt Red, and I'm just like the amount of money just for those I pegged at something like $1.5 billion,
at least,
like $7.5 billion in cash for Zenimax. Like they'll make the money back. They will make the money back.
Yeah, I know.
It is over long term.
That's interesting because when the rumor came about CD Projekt potentially getting acquired,
I mentioned Zenimax as well at the same time, and I think I pegged Zenimax at about $5 billion. I was only off by a quarter, a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, Zenimax is I think a better value for Microsoft than CD Projekt because I mean, CD Projekt they're making one game at a time.
Yeah,
and it's not only that they don't actually own the IPs that the games are making.
Now, having said all of that, gentlemen, I actually do think CD Projekt would be a really good investment for Sony because let's put aside the games, let's put aside Cyberpunk and The Witcher, PC publishing.
GOG.
Sony don't have an avenue into PC publishing. They're going for Steam right now, but they don't have their own avenue like Microsoft do with the Windows Store. GOG, with millions of registered users already, would be a far, far better deal for them. Yeah. They would get a lot out of that. Obviously, not saying that's going to happen, but if Sony wanted to do something, anything to seem competitive in this, it would be that and a subscription service.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what else they can do.
It's an interesting idea. Of course, GOG could be a good acquisition for them. But like I said, CD Projekt Red has an insane market cap right now. I mean, for the value they have, of course, the game they make, at least The Witcher 3 was possibly one of the best games released in the last decade. But at the same time, their market billion, I think, is now over $2 billion. Their market cap is now over $2 billion. I mean, that's just doesn't make sense.
No, it's all based on just people thinking. It's based on an IP they don't own, The Witcher.
Yes.
It's going to be based on another IP that they're making, which they also don't own, Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Again, they've got the game publishing rights and they've got the game development rights. They do own, I suppose they do own those rights, but they can't monetize it outside of video games.
True.
Which is limited. But
yes,
yeah.
true, but also you got to consider, like, if this acquisition were to happen, it wouldn't exclusively be them making the games.
Yeah,
you know,
course,
it would also be them having access to Sony's library of IPs.
Yeah,
you know, there's so many things that could happen, but we're probably getting away from the point talking about Sayday and Sony.
Yeah, Sony. We can talk all we like. Nobody knows what's going off in the execs of Sony. I imagine their heads of it's night time for them now over in Japan. It's quite late, so they're probably thinking they're probably not at work. They're probably settling up for bed. They've just seen this on the news. They're thinking, "Oh, tomorrow's going to be shit," and then we'll find.
It's a hell of a thing. It's a hell of a thing, but like, go on.
Yeah, I was just saying. Go on.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say this is just such a massive move for Microsoft.
Yeah, and also it will be interesting to see how it changes the pre-order game, you know, between the two consoles. Because as Dave pointed out, they've made this, of course, this bomb, they made it explode just the day before the opening pre-orders for the Xbox Series. So I wonder if some people who pre-ordered the PlayStation 5 will...
No fucker can pre-order the PS5 anyway now, so they probably are going to pre-order an Xbox.
Yeah, so it could change quite a few minds.
I'm just wondering, are we now going to see all the Bethesda games, the current Bethesda games, popping up on Game Pass like tomorrow?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Again,
that would be good.
Value.
Yeah,
sword.
I mean, check out this tweet. I mean, Bethesda acquisition price, of course, 7.5 billion, as we said.
Yeah.
Sony's 2013-2019 operating profit, 8 billion. So that puts it into context.
Wow.
I mean, Microsoft is in another league in terms of size of the company.
Yeah, I mean, to be like operating profit, the acquisition price and operating profit price, it's not the ideal example because with an acquisition,
But I think it's more applicable here than it is in most cases, because most of the time we are talking about billions in shares.
Yeah.
Whereas of course this is cash, which it's different.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
It's three times the profit of Microsoft. Yeah, Sony. It's literally the operating profit of Sony from 2013 to 2019. Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's madness, but Microsoft own the PC market. They've got the money. The Xbox studios can literally just go to the Windows department and go, can I have a check, please? And that's it.
Yeah, so the interesting thing is that I think there has been a massive change within Microsoft at the leadership level. Since the new CEO took over, Satya Nadella, because he brought Phil Spencer on board on the senior leadership team at Microsoft, and actually Spencer a couple of years ago said something like, before this change, we were like the boys playing in a garage, and now we're on the big stage. As far as the leadership at Microsoft goes. So it seems like Sadella Satya Nadella, he really believes in gaming a lot, so he's willing to invest.
Yeah, and that's fair enough. It's like they're the biggest publisher now. Behind Tencent, that's literally, as far as I'm aware now, there's only Tencent, a bigger game publisher than Microsoft.
And that's only because of the portions of games publishers and developers they own worldwide.
Oh yeah, of course, and I mean they've got like almost sole access to the Chinese market for everything. So it's if you discount Tencent, and everybody loves to, we'll not get into that. Microsoft has just blown everything out of the water. So it is going to be interesting. Obviously, you do include PC in this for Microsoft, so
yeah,
it's but this will put the Xbox literally on par, probably with the PlayStation. The future is going to be very interesting, especially considering we're only 2 months away from the next consoles.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm not the biggest Bethesda fan. Like, for the last console generation, other than Doom, I'd say I'm not sure there is a Bethesda published title that I'm crazy about, you know? But even having said that, it's impossible to deny the fact that when a Bethesda game launches, it is the biggest game of the week.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter which one it is, it's the biggest game of the week, biggest game of the month, whenever a Bethesda game launches. And the fact that Microsoft has just secured that is truly crazy. It's truly crazy.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think I've got much more to say about it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, personally, I am a rather big fan of Bethesda. But all the same, it doesn't really change much for me because I was already planning to get a PS5, but also I have a gaming PC, so I can just get all those games on PC.
And I was actually going to say, like, I don't have sales numbers in front of me, but if I was to make an assumption, I would assume that a majority of Bethesda's bigger fans play their games on PC, because games like Skyrim, Fallout, Doom, Wolfenstein, I think those are better suited to PC experiences than console experiences.
They are, but I think ever since Oblivion, the balance moved in favor of consoles. Because
the first Bethesda games on consoles were on Xbox, I think. So
Morrowind. Good times.
But something I wanted to ask Dave is, how do you think Nintendo factors into this? Because Bethesda has supported the Switch quite a lot, so you're also losing a few games in the future.
So yeah, good point. So obviously Nintendo, as always, are the outlier in the gaming industry, and I don't think this is going to be a massive impact for them. I definitely think we're still going to see Doom Eternal come to Nintendo Switch whenever it does. And in fairness, Microsoft have been, as I said earlier, very good at releasing their games on Switch with the 2 Ori games, Cuphead, and I think I might be forgetting one, I'm not sure. Minecraft, there we go. So we've already seen Microsoft be fairly supportive of Nintendo Switch thanks to the benefit of it being an outlier and not really part of the main console war competition. So I don't think this will be too intrusive. However, I do wonder if it's going to mean that the Switch will take even more of a backseat in terms of development than it already has. I mean, obviously, since the announcement of Doom Eternal, they were like, this is coming same day as the other console versions. And now, several months after Doom Eternal released, and we're like, So, on that note, though, I do really hope that Microsoft have. I wouldn't say that they're the best games ever that have come out over the last gen, other than a few, as Alessio said earlier. But they do put games out there. They get them made, they get them done, and they work. And sometimes Bethesda needs some of that. They need some making
Fallout
games.
76.
Yeah, well, not just Fallout 76, but the amount of games that they have sort of displayed, especially Bethesda's own internal team, not like id and stuff and Machine Games, but they're saying, hey, we've got Starfield, we've got Elder Scrolls 6, no trailers, even though we announced them years ago. They need a kick. And hopefully some of the production teams at Microsoft can give them the assistance they need to actually have games made.
I get the feeling they'll not do that. Just because they've been successful, with the exception, obviously, of 76. Their their method so far has been successful. So I think Microsoft will stay hands off until, as they have done with recent acquisitions. I only think they'll go hands on is if Bethesda Game Studios stops being worth the money. If their delays are so long and it stops being profitable, that's when Microsoft will start looking and thinking, yeah, that's not.
Imagine if they just
business.
Yeah, imagine if they just slapped up an Elder Scrolls collection and a Fallout collection on Game Pass. Just boom. Here's all of the Elder Scrolls we could make work.
Well, weirdly enough, that's what I said. I may, yeah, tomorrow. It won't be tomorrow, but
yeah,
before the end of the year.
Yeah, because of the Xbox backwards compatibility as well, they could easily just go Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, boom.
Yeah, and also, with the Series X, for example, you get a lot of upgrades in terms of load speed, textures, resolution, even auto HDR. So
yes, I was going to say that. Hopefully, one of these days they will get some extra ray tracing tech in there. I want to see Skyrim ray tracing. Let's go.
You can on PC with mods.
Oh, here we go. That's what I wanted.
Yeah. All I'm thinking now is 3, 4, 5 episodes ago, we were all joking about Skyrim coming to the next gen. It's going to happen. It's just going to happen in Game Pass.
It is, yeah. That makes it okay by me, as long as they don't want me to pay for it.
Well, you are paying for it. It's a subscription.
I think Microsoft, when we'll be able to do E3 conferences again, how big will it have to be? Like
just
3 hours?
Day. Just a day.
They're going to have to cut it up into sections.
No, it's just going to be a day. It'll start at 9 a.m. and finish at 6 p.m.
I think they should have each game studio just make their own little 15-minute trailer and stick it up on YouTube, and you can just watch them in whatever order you want.
Well, yeah. No guarantees we'll have E3 next year, but again.
Yeah, but we are running out of things to say. But before we go anywhere, I do have something tangentially related to Microsoft to say, and that is Playground Games are hiring lead script writers for Fable, and oh my god, that game is not going to come out for years.
I saw your tweet earlier. Yeah, if they're on the script writing stage right now, that means they've not even got a story properly yet.
They've just about figured out what's going on.
They pretty much know there's going to be a guy and he's going to fight the big bad evil and win. Yeah, that's all they've got.
But now Microsoft doesn't have the problem of, oh my god, when is Fable launching? Because each year they'll have,
when's Elder Scrolls launching?
they'll have Avowed, they have Starfield, Elder Scrolls 6, Fable. So, they can sort of space them about a year between each other.
None of those games are coming out in 2021. None of them.
Yeah.
But such is life. But yeah, so... Yeah, it's good. It's interesting. It's massive, and it's a surprise. And can I have my cut of the 7.5 billion, please?
Please. I think we're all done. I have nothing to finish off with except saying this is a pretty huge megaton, and I'm excited to see what the next couple of years are going to look like.
Yeah, it is probably the biggest megaton in the history of the industry, at least in the last 20 years or so.
Yeah. Right, I think that's it. Yeah, we'll see what happens. The entrenchment begins. So that's us signing
off. Your helmet. Bye.
Bye.
See you in a bit.